Hello there from Massachusetts in the US. My name is Susan Whitehead, and Julie asked me to make a video, and she asked me to watch Deepa's wonderful TED Talk, and I did, and it deeply resonated for me, but it didn't quite feel like mine. But I knew it deeply resonated, so I was a little confused. Why so resonant, and kind of why not mine? And I sat with it for over a month and realized that culturally, the language, the references weren't quite mine, but there was something deep in it that really truly was. And I really want to talk about chup and being told to be quiet. And I want to say something before I talk about my reaction to all of that. And that is, it occurred to me that I could make a video about how you come out of this period of coronavirus, and you talk about, and I could easily talk about what great project I wanted to do next and how I was inspired to save the world in this or that way, and that didn't feel quite right to me. So I wanted to talk about something that was a little bit more deeply personal to me, and I have to say has been sort of the hidden advantage of having this time of isolation to reflect upon things in my own life. So here we go. And it is more personal than you're probably accustomed to hearing in a talk like this. But Deepa talked about shut up or chup, and that doesn't fit me at all, because I grew up in a family where you were told you had to have an opinion, you had to argue your opinion. You had no standing if you didn't argue your opinion. So it really served me well. I was a litigator or trial lawyer, and I knew how to make a good argument because I've been doing it my entire life. So that didn't really resonate for me, because literally nobody ever said shut up. They always said talk up. But on the other hand, and here's where it gets interesting, I silenced myself for all of my life. And that's what was the deeply resonant part of Deepa's remarks for me. So the real question is, why on earth did I silence myself all of my life? Nobody had ever overtly silenced me, but I covertly silenced myself all the time. And it came in the form of not being willing to be the first to advance an opinion, being afraid of how it would be received, giving, frankly, way too much preparatory thought to my remarks, always feeling I had to be really well prepared and I could make my case like a good trial lawyer. And so that became kind of interesting to me. And then I realized I had a daughter who was the most unafraid person who I personally have ever met. And my daughter dropped dead 6 years ago. And you can imagine, the worst experience of my life, just hideous, unexplained, what happened to her? How did this happen? How did this happen to her? How did this happen to me? How did this happen to my family? It was really dreadful. And soon after she died, within about a month actually, I felt I was in communication with her constantly, and I thought about her kind of nonstop for about 6 months, and then it lessened a little bit. But in those 6 months, she constantly said to me, Mommy, what are you so afraid of? And this was really a mystery to me, because if you know me, nobody would say to me, what are you so afraid of? I'm not a fearful person. People know me as outspoken and forceful and all that. But it was unambiguous. That was the one thing that she just kept on coming back and saying to me. And I had it was curious, it was kind of terrifying, to tell you the truth. I had no idea what to make of it, and I kind of went on an interesting, very profound for me, personal journey exploring that question, what are you so afraid of? And it has to do with being silent and choke and the extent to which I silenced myself. And I wasn't fearless internally and kept on silencing myself. So that journey continues on until today. And my daughter's name was Kate, and I kind of feel Kate at my shoulder saying to me, Mommy, what are you so afraid of? And it has just propelled me in ways that I could not have imagined at the time of Kate's death. And it's given me a rich new dimension in my life. It's kind of given me everything, to tell you the truth. It's really transformed how I show up in the world and how I show up with myself. And so I enlisted kind of all the women who I'm close to and I love, and would discuss this endlessly with them, and I would discuss it with women who are not in my closest circle, but women who are in positions of power or authority, and I wondered whether this was a resonant issue for them. Did they silence themselves? Were other people silencing them? Were they silencing themselves, or was it a combination of the two of those? And I have to say, during this time of coronavirus, of course, I have the opportunity, because I can do all my work from home, so my schedule is much more flexible. I haven't gotten sick, and I've stayed quite isolated, so I've had a lot more time to continue to reflect on this. And what has become very clear to me is you can't really do anything of meaning in this world unless you are conscious of what you're fearful of, and you actually, I call it, go to the mouth of the dragon about it. So you need to live with your fear. You need to name whatever it is, and whatever kind of, it may seem foolish to you, it may seem embarrassing to you, it may seem entirely reasonable to you, the things that you're afraid of. But those things that you're afraid of, they rule you, and you gotta look at them. You just have to look at them. If you want to live a full-bodied life, you have to look at them. And I'd say to all of you who are going out there and thinking about what your next is, and you're thinking about very externally what your next big project is and how you're going to have an impact in the world, and that's the language of our world right now. What impact are you going to have? And these are really important questions, but honestly, for me, I have to start with me, and I have to use this opportunity of isolation to actually do that, because this is kind of the only chance that you have the space to do that. I'm not speaking to those women who have your children at home. I'm old enough so my children are not at home, so I have a whole lot more space. If your children are at home, God bless you, having to take care of a family of young people and do your work and do your self-reflection. Frankly, it's impossible. But I want to say one other thing that's become evident to me as I think about this period. It's so funny. Here I am, I'm alone, I'm not married, and my children are not here. And what has become and completely clear to me is that basically love is all there is. And you have to find love, and I don't mean, find love with a guy or find love in another necessarily. You need to find the parts of you that you actually really love and that you appreciate. You have to honor those, and you have to inhabit them. And it's only when you do that that you can actually find that outside in the world and connect up in a meaningful way. And your actions will have so much more power There's tons of love out there. There's tons for you to offer out there. You need to connect up to that channel and then do your great work that you're going to do in the world. You're all powerful women. And part of your power comes from finding that love in each other and disclosing that and really inhabiting that space. I wish you well. I wish you love. I wish you finding more love than you ever had in yourselves and in the places in the world where you want to share that. God bless. Take good care. Good night.